100% the gatekeeper of everything electronic in this house.
That's pretty awesome, actually. My hat's off to you, because the one
it's not like an intentional conscious decision. It's just, like I said, as my prospects and my life increased and became better over the last, let's say, probably the last 6 or 7 years, because I mean, I worked in IT. I had healthy income before this. I wasn't rich by any means, but healthy income. If I could afford to buy it, I bought it. If I couldn't, I didn't. I didn't look for ways to get it.
And the truth is, piracy is actually largely a risk. It's like STDs. 9 out of 10 things you download that are pirated, even from the most trusted of sites, have some kind of malware, some kind of backdoor.
I also, when I used to do that, I used like LimeWire and FrostWire, right?
They're both toxic platforms.
Exactly. That was one of the reasons why I just never had any desire to do anything cracked, because it's nearly impossible to get anything cracked that's not infected in some way.
Yeah, in the experience too, the thing that I found too is when I buy my software and I buy my music and everything, I don't know what it is, but I enjoy it more. I don't see it as just this disposable thing I just pick up like a pull tab and throw in the garbage. It's weird to feel that way about something that's kind of intangible, but it is. When I pay for it, I like it more, I enjoy it more. And I'm more focused on what I get. I don't just download everything. Like back in the Wares, the Wares days, everybody was just downloading everything.
Look, let me show you guys. Let me show you guys how dedicated I am to the whole pirated thing. Do you see this? Do you see this? I have legit retail copies of Windows 10 right here, because I won't even like pirate that. I won't even reuse the key for that. So I don't know. It's just a thing with me, I guess.
No, and the thing is, being professionals too, I mean, that's something that we have to also be conscious of. But let me ask you this. When you were younger, did you pirate like crazy? Or when you didn't have money, did you pirate like crazy?
The only thing I think I ever like pirated was music, because I couldn't afford $1.99 or $1.99 a track, right?
But again, motivated by money though, right? The fact that you didn't.
It was always motivated by money. Yeah, it wasn't a moral standing of like it was theft. It was I can't afford this, but I really want this. But that was a much younger me. Like I said, ever since I've entered my 30s, like I'm 35 and a half now, I've not stolen or pirated any piece of intellectual property whatsoever. I mean, like I said, just when I was building my test rigs and stuff, I was like, I need Windows on these machines, so I went and bought it. I bought them. And it's funny that every now and then, I keep dropping my SD cards. I'm playing with my SD cards here. Every now and then, people will point out, like, Jay, you need to activate your Windows, because it says activate Windows on there, and people are like, ooh, Jay's using a non-legit copy. No, what you guys don't realize is every time I switch a graphics card, or I switch a hard drive, or I switch a processor, Windows is constantly like, oh my god, activate, reactivate. And I gotta get on the phone, and I gotta like go through all that, and it sucks. So I just, like on the test bench, I just leave the whole like activate me thing on there. What's the thing I don't get? Updates? I'm okay with that, because they keep breaking shit.
It's true. No, and Microsoft has been incredibly aggressive, because Microsoft Windows is the most pirated piece of software on mobile. We used to have talks when I worked on the Redmond campus where they would bring us in.
Real quick, Z-Liz TV on chat says, you paid for WinRAR? Smiley face.
What's funny is I just unRAR'd something earlier and it popped up and it said, your 28 days are up. You better register this shit. And I'm like, nah.
I actually have a legit copy too of Ada64 Engineer. It just expired though. That's why the last like benchmark I did, I showed the trial version. I need to renew that too.
Yeah, and that's quite different too. If you're using shareware that isn't crippled, it's just putting some kind of watermark on it. If you don't, then it's up to you if you want to support it or not.
If the dev allows me to use this with a thing that says trial, then if it doesn't expire, it just keeps working. That's on the dev. But I didn't go out of my way to circumvent an activation process.
Well, it's like Microsoft, and this is why a lot of people opt not to cripple the software completely. They do cripple it to an extent, but they don't cripple it completely. And the reason being is, back when Microsoft, I think it was Windows XP, that had the product activation code. No, it wasn't XP, sorry, because XP required the code beforehand. It wasn't Vista. Windows 7's too new. It might have been Windows Vista, actually. When you installed it, you could actually say, I want to put in a product key later. Mm-hmm. And then after 30 days, it would cripple the entire operating system. You couldn't even log in. It would it was just ganked. And the problem with that is people would see the message and it's like, oh, you need to register Windows within 28 days. You need to register. And they keep going on, nah. But then when they got to the point where the whole system was crippled, they had no mechanism to really fix it.
Right.
Like the shit was already bonked. They couldn't log in. They couldn't go into their browser. They couldn't go buy a key. They had to use another computer to do it or make phone calls to do it. And then people would just get enraged, and then they would go out and get the pirated version that had all that shit stripped out of it. And Microsoft realized that, and a lot of companies realize that it's better to cripple it, because then what happens is it's still usable. It's still very usable, but it's less able to help you in a retail setting. Like, for instance, if you're trying to sell your content, it's going to have a watermark on it. If you're trying to create really long videos, maybe in video editing software, you can only do a 10-minute video instead of a 6-hour video. Those are things that are going to make you say, you know what, I probably should buy a license for this, because it's going to give me everything I need back. Everything's already set up. Everything's already there. It's a good motivator.
I'm laughing because I've been listening to everything you're saying, but I've been kind of multitasking in my brain. I'm trying to figure out. We're totally different subject here. I apologize, but I was listening to you. I'm trying to figure out why the bit rate fluctuates so much. Now I understand how bit rate works. I do, but I also know that like YouTube over here is like, your bit rate's way too low. We should be getting 3,000 kilobit per second, but you're only sending us 700. And I'm going, well, I know that that's because only so much on my screen is changing, right? All the pixels on here that aren't changing, like the logo and all that, it's not re-encoding that. It's just kind of carrying over. The only thing it's re-encoding is whenever like the screen moves. So I was doing a little test. I was waving my arms like frantically to see if I could make the bit rate go up. And as I did, the bit rate kept going up and up and up, which I was like, oh, okay. So I was doing science while you were talking.
Are you doing you're doing variable bit rate, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, if you do continuous bitrate, you wouldn't have those problems, and the video would probably be more crisper overall. But yeah, on variable bitrate, yeah, if shit isn't changing, it just encodes it less.
Well, here,
and
I'll
less.
switch it. I'll switch it right now live while we're going. 'Cause that's the cool thing about OBS is I can switch that shit while we're going.
That's actually
Excuse me, I can switch that stuff.
That stuff. Don't offend anybody.
God, I wouldn't want to offend anybody.
But back on the topic.
Oh no, wait, no, I am on use CBR.
On CBR, you shouldn't be changing.
Yeah, I know it's changing.
Because CBR is continuous bitrate. It's supposed to be, even if it's a black screen, you're still
It's
sending.
constant bitrate, sir, not continuous.
Oh, is it constant?
It's called constant bitrate. Yeah, not continuous. Dork.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. So right now, okay, so like right now it's only sending up 763 KB, 88, 96, 88. Okay, if I start waving my hands, Jerry, start waving your arms. Go. Wave, 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 wave. We look really stupid right now. Yeah, I went all the way up to 1,000 when I did that. So I kind of feel like when you moved, the kilobit went up higher than it did when I moved.
Hobbs is doing a good job in chat tonight.
That just went right over top of your head, man.
Oh, did it?
I made a
What?
fat joke because I love you. I said I felt like the bitrate went up higher when you moved than when I moved. I'm sorry, I did not take your feelings into account. Do you identify as an overweight person, or do you identify as a dog?
I identify as a skinny Hispanic woman.
Then it's true if it's true in your mind. Now you
It
just
is.
have to find the skinny Hispanic woman bathroom.
Oh, no, I take it back. I identify as attack.
As a what?
Attack helicopter.
Oh, that's right, an Apache 64,
That's what
age
it was.
64.
Yeah, there's a t-shirt too. It's got a picture of the helicopter. It's like, I identify as an attack helicopter.
Yeah.
So anyways,
Where's Terry Crews? Probably off doing Terry Crews shit.
probably. So where we stand on piracy right now, piracy isn't a good thing because it's for content creators, but there is, I'm gonna say there is a gray area for certain things. If you are poor and you could never afford the thing in the first place, and there is some kind of value to you personally, not in distributing it and selling it and shit like that, but educationally, I would say just from a moral standpoint, I would allow it personally. That's something I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for being able to access shit that I never had any right to. And I know that sounds really bad, but it's true. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I would not have been an employee at Microsoft. I wouldn't have spent 15 years building their software if I hadn't have been so well versed into it from pirating it back when I had absolutely no money.
What?
I can see your raptor claw now.
Oh, I was doing pirate. I was going, arr.
Oh, were you? Look, I didn't sound so. It looked like raptor claw.
Someone in chat was like, change your iframe to 1 and you won't have those problems. Like, what the hell's an iframe? There's no iframe setting in OBS. This ain't Apple.
I think there is under advanced though in the encoder, the keyframe. Basically.
Keyframe is set to 1.
Is it? Okay, well,
Yeah.
what he's talking about. But honestly, if you have the money to buy things, you should software, you should absolutely buy it. There's no reason for you not to buy it. It supports the people you want. It gets you the support that you need. It gets you access to updates and shit. And above all, it keeps you virus free. Because every single time I go to somebody's house, a member of my family or a friend or whatever, they're like, hey, can you look at my wife's laptop or whatever? And I open it up, and every single time there are 1,000 fucking malware things everywhere. And what do I always find? Either uTorrent or LimeWire.
Yeah.
or something on there, and it's like, yeah, that's why people are giving you tons of bandwidth and giving you free software, because they're hoping that you're going to be dumb enough to just let shit on your system.
I got a real quick funny story here. When I help someone recover their PC, and then we're gonna get into donations here.
All right.
Because it's 6 o'clock, sir. Okay, so we had a friend once that I did family portraits for, like back when I was like, I'm gonna do photography. Like this was way before YouTube, right? And so they freaked out because their computer like crashed or whatever, and they thought they lost like an archive of thousands of family photos and stuff they had on there. So I went over to their house and they asked me, you know, they're like, if we cook you dinner, can you come over and take a look at your PC? I was like, yeah, fine, I guess we do that. Right? 'Cause like, that's the thing. If you have an IT friend that's ever come over and fixed your computer, and you didn't at least make them dinner or give them food or something, that's a dickhead move, because they saved you hundreds of dollars, by the way. Because usually the home, like the going hourly rate for a home call is like $200 guaranteed, like just to come for that first hour, and it's usually like anywhere between 100 to 150 an hour after that. So yeah, and if you take advantage of your tech friends and you don't give them something, you're a dickhead. Anyway, moving forward. But I think most people in this chat don't need to call people to get help anyway, probably. So you guys aren't dickheads.
I don't know, they watch your shit, so.
Well, it's because they're into the dick holes. It's different dick altogether.
Gotcha.
So anyway, I ended up recovering their stuff pretty easily. It wasn't that hard, but I recovered way more than they thought I was going to be able to recover.
I've done it too. Yep.
It was kind of like, wow. I don't want to say her name, but I was like, kind of like, wow, you're way more flexible than I thought you were. I know, right?
I worked at Mother's Board computers, and we'd get the pictures. People just have their wallpaper and shit set to like them naked.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, they do it on purpose too. But yeah, no, there's times where we get a computer in, and even not even for data recovery, just Windows won't boot. Then you get it booting, and all of a sudden there's a folder.
Yeah,
on
the folder.
Like,
don't name it private.
Yeah, don't name it. Don't click here, because we will absolutely click there.
Okay, let me go and kick this off, because I think I only have like 6 or something like that.
Oh, hey, one second, just before you do that though, my neighbor who doesn't live here anymore, and he would be watching the live stream, he's way too old. Really old Muslim guy, really awesome. I mean, really great neighbor. Really just kind of kept to himself. His computer.
We get it. You don't want to offend the Muslims. Come on, got it.
No, I don't want to offend him if he's watching. But this might. Anyways, I did a full recovery of the hard drive over like 2 days because the hard drive was like clunking and shit. I recovered it, and I went in and looked at the internet cache.
Oh no.
Oh my.
Why
God.
would you even go there? Why did it matter?
Oh my God. No, let's just say that some of it wasn't even human.
Well, I'm sorry, but like camels came to mind like immediately for me.
Maybe, yeah, but no, it was he was into some pretty.
I got tickets to a donkey show in Mexico if you're free next Saturday.
Technically, nothing that I saw on there was illegal though, but it was one of those things where it's like, you think you know your neighbors, you don't know your neighbors, you don't know them.
Like I said, I got free tickets to a donkey show in Mexico. All right, so on that note,
I want to go.
Solo Clay Dog 95 says, "Keep up the good work. What would you get a MSI Stealth Pro or Origin PC Evo 15S? Each is the same size spec-wise. Dude, okay, so I have the MSI Stealth Pro right now. I think in my vlog I talked about having a skinnier version of this Titan. It's downstairs. It's still in the box. I want to do the review of the Titan first, but I have the MSI Stealth Pro. I love the form factor of that thing. It's super light. It's thin. The ladies like rib for their pleasure. No, that's a whole different conversation. Anyway, I got it specifically because the wife needed a laptop that I wanted her to be able to play some games. She likes to be able to do some little like games every now and then, but most of the things people were willing to like send over are like big behemoths like this MSI Titan over here. But the form factor, it's so light. I love that laptop. I like it more. I'm more intrigued with the Stealth Pro than I am with the Titan, and we'll talk about that in the reviews. So I would probably go with the MSI Stealth over the Origin PC Evo 15. Also, too, the Stealth Pro I believe is 17-inch, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the Evo 15 is a 15-inch. So you have to ask yourself if you want a 17. So MB67 says, "Here's 25 from the old Gen Xer, born in '67." Thank you, sir.
I said old school.
I told you I've captured, man. I've captured them old spirits. I've captured them because I relate. My wife would tell you I'm more of an old spirit than a young guy, even when I was young. Because I like oldies. I like 50s music, 60s music. I'm not into like anything anyone that's like 35 is into. Okay, so Ryan, I won't say his last name one because I can't pronounce it.
Good enough reason.
keep okay, you know it's an interesting name when even like the Word doc has a red squiggly line under his name because names and pronouns are usually in there.
Right.
So keep work good work good work, guys. Maybe he typoed his own name, I don't know. Just want to say I love your channels and I'm a sub for life. Side note, do you have a recommendation on an amp DAC combo for the DT990 600 ohm version? Thank you. Dude, the Mayflower Electronics, man, it's a hell of a DAC for a really affordable price. Was it like 200 bucks?
Yeah, and a little over 200, but it's the O2 and the amp, the DAC
Right.
and the amp together. It is.
Yep.
It's. We'll put it this way. I gave a $1,000 tube amp, a Woo Audio WA7 Fireflies, which is an audiophile grade headphone amp. I gave it to my friend because I was actually getting cleaner and higher power out of the O2.
And it's USB.
Yeah.
And not to mention the O2, the Mayflower O2 has 0 decibel noise floor.
Oh, it also has an AC amp too. Like it looks like you're plugging in a DC adapter, but it's not. It's actually an AC transfer.
I said 0 decibel noise floor. What I meant to say was the noise floor is... That's a really loud noise floor, I just want to say. The noise floor is non-existent. How about that? It's very, very low.
Yeah, you can crank it to 100%, and even on the most sensitive.
There's no hiss.
Any hiss or nothing. It sounds like it's not.
That's what I was trying to say. Now we know why I don't do headphone reviews anymore.
Neither do I, apparently.
No, I specifically have turned down all the headphone reviews because I'm like, you know what? Them audiophile people, yeah, them guys, cannot make them happy. Okay, so Cuddy2287 says, wanted to show some support because I haven't in a while, but I have a question. When you SLI, is it more stable to have both cards at the same overclock, or should you just put the higher overclocker as the master? Thank you once again for all the help. I really appreciate it. Oh, and Jerry, I hope you kick 2017's ass. We're all rooting for you.
Thank you.
So I've played around with this a bit. Unless the overclocks are drastically far apart, like you have one that's just a dud and won't overclock at all, and you've got one that's like, I'll go, 20% overclock, you're not going to notice much of a difference. So what I typically do with my SLI configs is I set both cards to the lowest overclock too. That's what I do. You typically aren't going to see any sort of difference.
From a software developer standpoint, though, having a faster core, the only operation where they're both going to slow down is where one is waiting on the other, like the multi-threaded stuff.
Yeah.
So if you have an SLI scenario, and well, actually, in SLI, doesn't one card produce one frame while the other one's producing?
No, that's an alternate frame rate. There's 4 modes of SLI, but most do not work that way.
Okay, because if there's any weight state between the two cards to generate the frame, then having one with a significantly higher clock rate, it's just going to pull it down to the lowest common denominator.
The way they kind of work now is they sort of worked on like an interlacing of the screen, where each card handles like every other like line of this data going across the screen. So they're in tandem.
Okay, so as long as it's not purely sequential and it doesn't have to wait for one line to another line to another line to another line, you probably benefit from the one card being faster. But if they're dependent on each other, it'll drag it down to the lowest common denominator. Used to do this in multi-programming for CPUs too. It didn't matter if you had one CPU that was faster than the other. If you have a blocking call that prevents the other CPU from going until this one releases it, you end up with the overhead ends up defeating whatever gain you had.
Yeah, I've played around with this quite a bit. Even when EVGA, when they were in my office a while back, we were playing around with the different SLI settings. We were trying to figure out why I was getting massive frame reduction during SLI when X99 first launched, and we found out we had to manually set it to Gen 3. It wasn't auto setting to Gen 3. We tried those different settings. It's amazing. Believe it or not, when you go alternate frame rate like that, it's way slower, way slower. Especially in the higher resolutions, because you still, like you said, are having to wait on one card to render all of that buffer data.
And that's wasted time. Yeah.
Yeah. So the way it works now, though, is like I think it's like I don't know how many grids there are on the screen, but each card takes a portion of the screen.
Makes sense. But for compute stuff, it's well worth it. So depending on what you're doing.
Yeah. For gaming, I've played around with having the card until the cards end up getting very spread out in terms of their speed. It was pretty negligible. So I ended up just making them both whatever the lowest setting is, one for temperatures and power draw. Damon Boyce says, any recommendations for a camera for YouTube sub 1000? I was looking at the Sony RX100, but not sure it would be the best use of my money.
You're watching me on an RX100 right now, although the compression and shit makes it look like garbage. But the RX100 probably has the best video quality I've seen of any point and shoot small platform that I've ever used. But it does have an Achilles heel, and that is the 4K version of it can only record for 5 minutes at a time, which honestly isn't that big of a deal if you're making proper videos where you're cutting between scenes and everything, but it can get annoying if you're trying to record like really long vlog content. So you're probably going to be recording everything at 1080p, which is fine too. So.
Yeah. I don't really have a recommendation, to be honest with you, at that particular price point. Gosh.
But well, how about this? The RX 100, the utility of it. If you look at don't just look at the quality, look at the utility of it. It has a good built-in microphone, crystal clear image quality, good low light performance, like in its class. You can use it as a vlogging camera because it has the screen that flips around. It can be tripod mounted, and it can be run off an external battery pack, so you can pretty much run it forever. Very, very cheaply, and it has an uncompressed HDMI out, so you can run it into a capture card just like I'm doing now and use it as a really high-end webcam. So you're getting all of that.
It does have DC power too, right?
Yes, yeah, you
okay.
can DC
That's
power
the most important part for YouTube.
And not only that, you can charge it DC power from their proprietary cable, or you can just go straight over USB and power the entire camera off USB.
Okay.
So no, it's a great camera for a YouTuber because it's so versatile, and because it's so small, you can stick it on your dashboard, you can stick it on the seat. It's a good platform. Now the reason why I have the bigger cameras like the FDR AX33 and the 53 is because they have the optically stabilized lens in them and the ability to have an external microphone, and those are big deals. But for somebody who you're just creating YouTube videos, if you're in close proximity to the camera, the audio will be fine. But if you do need better audio, then look into getting an external audio recorder and sync the stuff up in post. That's what most people do.
Yeah, I mean, that would be much more simple than obviously going the route I did, getting the big expensive cameras and stuff. I need to get me a small... What?
I said, or spend $10,000 to get an FS5 and Zoom